If you've ever dealt with gut health issues or low self esteem, then this is the show for you. So stay tuned for this episode of Love My Body, Love Myself. We'll be right back. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Love My Body, Love Myself. I am your host, Alicia Couri, and I'm just so excited every time I get to present this show because it is such an amazing opportunity to hear stories and hear from women who have experienced something that they found a path through it, and then now they're able to help you who are joining us also find your way through it. So this show is an amazing show. I have two phenomenal guests that I know you're going to learn from and you're going to just love. But first of all, I just want to welcome those of you who are watching live and also those of you who are watching on the replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we stream live here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and also on LinkedIn. So if you are here with us, leave us a comment. Let us know if you have a question or comment. We love to answer your comments and share your comments with the rest of the audience. This show, we are endeavoring to reach 100,000 women with our message. And in so doing, we would love for you to join our Facebook group. It is facebook.com/LMBLM, and that's facebook.com/groups/LMBLM. That's for Love My Body, Love Myself. And if you are over on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/C/Alicia Couri. We got amazing content over there, over on our YouTube channel. And thank you so much, Reginald. Thank you for being faithful and joining us and really being a really good partner over here on all our shows, really. So thank you for being a great supporter. So the Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. Again, go ahead, leave comments and share this with someone who you believe can benefit from this information. And I don't want to take any more time from our guests because this is going to be a great show. So let me tell you who's joining me today. So first up, we have Janet Walters. And Janet has said that, she's overcome extreme shyness and self-hatred to become assertive and love herself. She has transformed her life and really loves who she is right now. So I'm super excited to welcome Janet. And also Tish Times is joining us. And Tish has dealt with chronic gut issues for several years and has had to make sweeping changes in her diet and lifestyle. She's had to create habits of self-care and self-love in order to maintain her sanity and health. She's also struggled with her own self-confidence and in most of her adult life, and has overcome it in order to fulfill the call on her life. So I'm super thrilled and very excited to welcome to the show Janet and Tish. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey there, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. So, ladies, first of all, I wanted to go back to your younger selves and tell us a little bit about who you are and some of the challenges that you face. Just take a couple minutes. Tish, I'm gonna have you share first.
Sure. So thank you again for having me. What a exciting time, and it's very seldom I get to talk about these types of things. As a kid, I was the last born, the surprise baby. I have three siblings, but they're like 11 years, 14 years, 16 years older than I am. So I grew up very much like an only child, and I guess for me, I just felt kind of not, and I hate to use the word forgotten because I know that wasn't their intention, but I spent a lot of time alone. Some of the things that I experienced, which I'm happy to share with you during the show, I just experienced some things that made me feel less than, and my confidence really struggled all the way until I was in my mid 20s when I really began to know who I am and stand firm in my confidence. But as a kid, people thought I was confident because I am tall, I'm 5'11. I walk into a room, people kind of think that, okay, she has it all together. And I really struggled with who I was at that time. But now I know and I love sharing so that other young women can find their confidence as well.
Excellent. And Janet, you are up next. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm going to start with my early childhood. And I wasn't a happy child at all. I was born in 1961, so I've been around for a while. And I grew up, I had three brothers, and of course, a mom and a dad. But growing up in the 60s for me, it was really tough because women were still way below men. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't a fair thing, a fair for women, and we're still dealing with that. But we're going to just stick with my childhood. But
Mm,
the thing, I felt left out. My dad told me I was dumb. My
mm,
mother told me I was average, and my grandma said I was ugly. So I was just
gosh.
horrified by that. And then my brothers didn't like me. They mistreated me because I was a girl. So they made my life miserable. But as a result of that, I grew up as a Christian. I'm Christian. Uh, I remember I was so miserable, hating my life, and I felt like no one loved me.
Mm,
And I used to pray for God to take me. I wanted God to take me.
Mm-mm.
I also prayed for Jesus. Please, Jesus, come, come, please come. And then I used to beat myself up. I used to hit myself in the head because I didn't want to live. I wanted to die. And luckily I didn't. Nothing happened. But I'll tell
wow.
you, when you, at such a young age, not wanting to be alive, it's kind of scary. But
Mm,
thankfully, I outgrew that. And of course, there's more chapters, but that's my early childhood in a nutshell.
wow. That is, it's heartbreaking to have to experience something like that as a young child, feeling like nobody loves you, nobody wants you, and I'm super thankful that you are here and that nothing, you were not taken, because now, as a woman, who's experienced things, you get an opportunity to share your story, to help someone else who might be feeling what you felt as a young child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And what I think is even more powerful is that, as a Christian going through that in your childhood, you never left God. You never left Christ. A lot of people feel like, well, God forsook me, and so I'm not even going to worship him anymore because he abandoned me. And you stayed with him, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, this, Janet, this journey of yours, going through what you went through, I know we've had a conversation before, and you felt ugly, worthless, um, you weren't good enough. What changed for you?
I would have to say what changed in my life, and it didn't happen really until my 30s. I was the first one in my family to get my bachelor's degree.
Wow, someone who they thought you were stupid, right?
Right.
You were the first one in your family to get a bachelor's degree. Woohoo! Congratulations on that.
And then I've been working since I was 17, so I've had a variety of jobs, and I was a admin assistant at the time, and I always had this inferiority complex, and I put people on pedestals, especially males, managers, like
Yeah.
directors, bosses, like who am I to them? And it did affect my morale. It did affect my work ethic. So it's like, what's the use? But I was thankful that I got paid. I was grateful for that. And I said, I have a bachelor's, and it still didn't really help. You know what I mean? Great to have the degree. So then I had this bright idea. Hey, I'll get my master's degree. And I was earning my master's degree in management. And while I was doing that, I forgot about the college experience, whereas that you have to speak in front of people and give presentations and things like that. I was able to play around with that in my bachelor's days, because I always did the slideshow and they did the talking. I always
Right.
was able to
You
get out
found
of
a way
presenting.
around
Yeah.
not being in front of anybody.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So, and there's more to the story, but maybe you have something else that you like to ask, or maybe
Yeah.
Tish wants to say something.
Oh,
It's interesting because as I'm listening to you, I hear some similarities in that, especially young in my career, I felt like I didn't have a voice. Like I couldn't speak up for myself. And many times I think my relationship with my dad, amazing man, a wonderful man. And I think he was an excellent father who didn't know how to talk to a young girl, just didn't know how to engage. And so I found myself looking for that love, looking for someone to affirm me, someone to tell me that I was pretty. And so when you talk about having that, putting men on pedestals, I found myself doing that. Whenever a man would pay attention to me, it was like, oh, there you are. Somebody is actually showing me attention, showing me love, showing me, making me feel like I belong. And that
mm,
caused me to go into an abusive marriage. I spent 4 years in a very abusive marriage. I spent my young career allowing men to assert, I guess, just not dominion, but assert a certain level of control over me that they did not deserve, but it was because of the way I felt about myself and the things that I dealt with as a young person. So again, different stories, but I definitely sense some similarities, Jen, and I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, Tish, tell me a little bit about your challenges with your gut health. Like what what was going on for you to notice that it was actually in your gut that you were having trouble?
So, Alicia, I literally thought that it was normal to eat and then feel sick. From a young person. This has been going on for years. And it wasn't until like 2000, maybe 16, that I got a real diagnosis. I mean, it was, yeah, I spent my entire young adult life dealing with that. I would eat certain foods and then I would feel bad, or I'd get really sick. And, of course, I would think it was some kind of a stomach bug or whatever. And so it wasn't until, matter of fact, it was Valentine's Day 2016, 15 or 16. My husband had planned this amazing date for us. We were supposed to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He had planned the entire day. And in the morning, I felt horrible. And I was like, can we do lunch instead? And I was like pushing back. And then he finally listens and says, what's wrong? And we ended up in the emergency room. And that was the first time someone told me that I was struggling with diverticulitis. So apparently, I've been dealing with different gut issues for a long time, and then have developed diverticulitis, which is what I'm dealing with, and kind of overcoming, finding ways to overcome those infections that have continuously been coming back over and over again for many years. But this is very recent that I got the diagnosis, but it's been 4 years that I've
Wow.
dealt with different types of gut issues, though.
That's amazing. Have they found the root of what it is, or you just have figured out how to manage it now?
I've tried to manage it, so I've gotten to where I'm not having as many flare ups. But I just recently found here in Phoenix, I found a naturopathic gastroenterologist who has been able to do some pretty intense food sensitivity testing. So I'm in the middle of it right now. Unfortunately, I just had a flare up about a month ago. So I just got off of antibiotics, and we're in the process of trying to find some more natural ways of dealing with it. And like you, Janet, I'm a believer, so I'm doing all the medications, I'm doing all the dietary changes, I'm doing all the natural things, but we are bombarding heaven and believing God for a solution, because I don't believe I'm supposed to live like this. I don't believe
Yeah.
this is God's will for my life. And so we're doing both things, but most importantly, just really praying and believing for a real solution that's going to be lasting.
And did you find that, Tish, getting a diagnosis was harder as a woman? And I'm not trying to make a thing out of this. It's just,
Yeah.
sometimes women's issues aren't handled as that urgent. Like a lot of times, and I have girls, so I have two daughters, and a lot of times it's like, well, that's just how it is.
Yes.
Like when they have bad cramps, it's like, well,
Mhm.
you just have bad cramps, or you just,
Right.
like, we're in dealing with the
Yes.
situation. Do you find that the solution wasn't really
Oh, for
forthcoming, that
sure.
you
I
had
mean,
to express?
this was not the first time I went to the hospital, obviously. You know what I mean? The first time I went to the doctor, the first time I complained about having issues. And many times I was sent home with, I don't, we don't know. I even had an exploratory surgery when I was 18 years old.
Mm.
They did an
Wow.
exploratory surgery and never, they never could find anything. And the doctor literally told me that he thought it
And
was all in my head. Yeah,
that's
it
what
was
my
all.
daughter's being told right now. It's in her
Yeah.
head.
So I just kind of learned to live with
Mm.
it. I learned to live with it, and I found foods that I knew would make me sick, and I just wouldn't eat those foods. I've been off of gluten for many years, and I just felt like, okay, well, this is. I won't say I resolved that this was just my life, but I kind of resolved that I wasn't going to figure it out though, because I didn't know
Mm.
there was an actual diagnosis. I didn't know what it was, and we're still in the process. I finally found a female, by the way, gastroenterologist who is
Hmm.
very committed to helping me figure out what's going on. So I'm still in the process.
Yeah. Yikes. And that's why they call it practicing medicine, folks. They're
Exactly.
practicing on you. They don't know. They don't know.
They don't
They're
They
still
know.
don't.
trying to crack the code.
They're trying to figure it out right along
They're
beside
still
us, in all
right.
honesty.
They're still trying to figure
Right.
out what to do.
Yep.
Um, so Janet, as you were in this situation, we left off, you were talking about, you put men on a pedestal. What changed for you? What changed that made you say, you know what, enough is enough?
Well, I just noticed that I knew that my attitude was bad. I knew that I was, like afraid of leaders, especially men. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to grad school. And that's what I did. I was going to get my degree, and I did, in management, business management. And then like I was telling you earlier, I forgot that we had to give presentations, and I tried to get out of it, but this time I couldn't. And fortunately, a professor, she saw how distressed I was. And then she told me, why don't you go to Toastmasters and check it out? And you could give a mini report and present it in front of the class. I'm like, oh, okay. And I did. I was in downtown LA at the time. I visited the club. I was scared, like
Hmm.
deathly scared. I went in there and I checked out the meeting, and I was blown away. I was impressed at how professional they were. And then I joined the club. And then, in getting through that whole learning how to speak in front of people, I also developed leadership skills. And in my earlier years, I noticed that at my job, I was more assertive. I was able to stand up for myself and not view people as these incredible, like, put them up
Gods,
so
like you
high.
put them,
Yeah.
yeah, like they're
And I
also
was
great, and
being
I'm
able
not.
to speak right. So I was able to speak my truth, and if I could call them out on it. And that really helped me tremendously in the work world. And then after I got laid off, this was, was it 2007? I didn't have a job, but at the same time, I still, I've been in Toastmasters all this time, and even now I'm still in it. I wasn't able to get a job, but I'm a coach now. I'm a confidence, happiness, and esteem coach. And I work primarily with women over 40, and I help women realize their greatness, that they help people. I help them help themselves. They become empowered and develop the confidence and the joy and the happiness that we experience. And then they, at the same time, can share that with others and empower other women.
That's amazing. Because of your journey, you're able to use your, your challenges and the things that really were hard for you to go through to now really help other women shift and become so much more powerful. I love that. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere, and we're going to come back with these two amazing women on Love My Body, Love Myself. Don't go anywhere. The Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. Alicia Couri Inc. specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. Visit our website, aliciacouri.com, for more information. The show is produced by Red Carpet CEO. If you'd like a copy of Age with Audacious Confidence, visit our link tree at linktr.ee/acoury. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back to Love My Body, Love Myself. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and today we're talking to Janet Walters and Tish Times. And in the first half of the show, we really dug deep into their past and some of the challenges and issues that they had, and we left off talking to Janet about how she was able to start turning things around, and now she's working at helping other women. But before we get back to them, I just wanted to remind you to leave a comment if this is valuable information for you. Also, share this out with someone that you know that can also benefit from this intel, this this great juicy conversation. Please connect with us. You can connect with subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/c/Alicia Couri. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can connect with me on all social media channels. Just go to alicia360.com and you'll find all my list of social media channels there. I will also encourage you to please join us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/LMBLM. And I never got to really share with you before that, here on Red Carpet CEO, we have 3 programs that we produce every week. So if you'd like to be on any of our shows, you can email us at support@aliciacouri.com. We have Small Business Saturday Shout Out. It's the first and third Saturday of the month at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Another show we have on Mondays, it's Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. That's Mondays on winwinwomen.tv. So join us Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, this show here is at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Love My Body, Love Myself. So this is the email again, if you'd like to be a guest or sponsor. And I've had many people reach out to me on email and ask to be a guest on the show. Just go ahead and email us support@aliciacouri.com or slide into my DMs and just say, I want to be a guest on the show. Thank you so much, Reginald. Reginald said, this is a great perspective for parents raising young ladies. Yes. One of the things, everything that we're talking about is so important. And also when talking about your health, because, women, we have so many things going on in our bodies. And so your daughters might be complaining about stuff and you're thinking, oh my gosh, again, but please listen to them, because sometimes there are things that are not functioning the way they should function. And even the doctors sometimes don't know what it is, but don't dismiss them and don't just say it's all in their head, because it's important for them to know that we care enough to take them seriously when they're going through things. So let me welcome back to our show, Janet Walters and Tish Times. Thank you, ladies, so much. It's so important, this conversation, I believe. And yeah, the men that are watching us are definitely, impacted by what you're talking about. So, um, Janet, we left off, you were saying that Toastmasters really helped you. Were there any other tools that helped you kind of get your confidence in who you are and helped you to really love who you are now?
I believe, I think it's through life experience, and I'm also a John Maxwell coach, speaker trainer. So that helped immensely. And I'm still with John Maxwell, obviously.
Yeah.
And the other thing I do is I watch uplifting YouTube videos, such as your shows,
Thank you.
and right, and I listen to all kinds, anything that's uplifting. Like I like Ed Milet, Les Brown,
Yeah.
Bob
People
Proctor,
who are
all those people.
Yeah.
positive, yeah,
Anything
pouring
positive.
positivity into your life. And Tish, you did mention that you had a bad, you went through a really difficult marriage, an abusive marriage. How were you able to really begin to empower yourself to leave that situation and become more of who you are today?
Yeah, it was not overnight. And I want to say this because, especially for those young women who might hear this, or the parents who are talking to the young girls, I left probably 4 or 5 times and went back. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I had to know for myself that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I had to know that I would be okay on my own, that I didn't have to depend on anyone to take care of me financially, emotionally, so on and so forth. So when I finally got to a place where I could make my decision, and to be honest with you, it was I got saved, I got born again, and I began to hear the word, and I felt like, you know what, help me, Lord, to get out of this. And I left, and I left. He was mean, he was abusive, he was ugly in that sense. So I waited until he went to work. I had a friend who was able to help me. We packed up everything while he was gone. He worked 12-hour shifts, so we had the whole day, and I got out of there. Now, mind you, I did leave with two amazing little boys who are now grown men, and that made it for me. That was also my inspiration. I did not want my kids to experience that, and I was
mhm.
able to leave there. And even when I left, it took me years to find my confidence, to find my voice, to really believe. So, yeah, I left physically, but there was still a lot of mental, I guess,
And
baggage,
emotional,
a lot
I'm
of
sure.
emotional chains that were still attached to that previous relationship. And now, mind you, I was being told, similar to you, Jan, I was being told that I wasn't going to make it on my own, that I needed him, that I was not pretty, and that it was almost like, I take you because I like you, but not because you're beautiful. I felt like I wasn't beautiful. I had real strong issues with my self confidence, but I'll never forget. I know exactly when my change came. I was sitting in a service in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and my a dear friend of mine and mentor at the time was ministering, and she ministered on what's called the cup of confidence. And if you look in my background, maybe you can see it, maybe you can. There's a cup up there that day we everybody was supposed to bring a cup, and you're supposed to like have your cup filled, if you will. And that day, it's like I heard so clearly that not to forget my confidence, for with it comes a great reward. And that was my moment of really finally believing that I didn't need anything external to make me feel confident. It came from the inside, it came from what God had already planted on the inside of me. and they began to grow, and it's been growing ever since. And I love, part of my brand is Unstoppable Confidence, and I love
Mm.
helping young women, specifically in ministry. We do a lot of that, but in business, I teach women how to find their sales confidence, how to be able to speak with confidence, so that people will buy their products and services and believe in themselves, so that they can stand in front of audiences and share their message. So it's been a long journey, but I feel like now is a good time because it's really grown so much.
Girl, I can't even listen to you two. I can't even believe that you struggled with confidence. And
I
it's so, and people tell me that too all the time. It's like, I can't believe you struggle with confidence. And
Mhm.
we're not immune from the struggle.
No.
We're not immune from the struggle, because you're not born um, confident or not confident. We're
No.
all born confident, but our experiences in life is what knocks the confidence out of us.
I think it's so important for parents to hear this message, because it's like it took one person to tell me I wasn't pretty, that you know, I'm 5'11". You're too tall. You're too skinny at the
And I'm
time.
the opposite. I'm too short.
Right, who's your dark skin, all of these things. It's just those little seeds that get
Mm.
planted, and once they get planted, unfortunately, just like confidence grows, those negative seeds grow as well. So I was intentional. I think I did too good of a job. My boys are so confident. They know exactly who they are, but
Mm.
it wasn't by accident. It was very
Yeah,
intentional. So
very
parents,
intentional.
tell your children. Don't let the world tell
Yes.
them who they are. You got to be very intentional about helping them to find that place of confidence.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, the one of the most popular songs on the radio was "Short People" by Randy Newman,
Yeah.
and I'm a short people, so I was always told I have no reason to live. So
Oh, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
not good. Mm.
that's so that
wow.
that haunted me, and it's really funny that he sang the theme song to Toy Story, right? You Got a Friend in Me. And that song used to
Yeah.
just irk me. I'm like, and it won awards, it won a Grammy, it won what, an Oscar and all kind of, I'm like, why does anybody like that song? And
Mm.
it, because
Mm.
now I'm an adult. And it dawned on me when I was writing a speech, to give this talk, and I was going to reference Short People, the song, and then it I made the connection. It's his voice. It's Randy Newman's voice.
Wow.
Hearing that song Short People as a child, that triggered whenever I heard You Got a Friend in Me, it
Mm.
triggered me from from my childhood. Why it
Wow.
was like nails on a chalkboard. Every time I heard that song, I was like, ugh. And it was because
Yeah.
of that song. And once I made that connection, I was like, oh, now with the song, it doesn't bother me anymore. But I couldn't understand why anybody would like that song.
Interesting. Yeah.
Understood.
So interesting. The little things
It's,
that trigger us from our childhood. And I just want to, Janet's left. Thank you so much, Janet Lopez. She said, "You ladies are beautiful, and we'll be connecting hopefully with the three of you. Spiritually connected. No coincidence that I was strangely notified on my phone and landed here. Thank you for watching, Janet." And as you say that, let me just tell you how you can connect with these two amazing women. So you can connect with Janet on IG, janet.walters, and on Facebook, it's at Janet Walters. And then Tish, if you'd like to connect with Tish on IG, it's at Tish Times. And on Facebook, it's Coach Tish Times. So check these ladies out. Go ahead and connect with them. They're powerful, wonderful, amazing women. And I'm so thankful to have them on the show today with us. Um,
you
so
know,
let me see. Where am I going to go with this?
well,
Janet.
Alicia, can I ask you, can I say something real quick? Because you said something that reminded me. You said it's those little things. I had a teacher when I was in the fourth grade who basically told me I wasn't smart. You know how kids, they used to bring you to the chalkboard and tell you to do a math problem or whatever. And I
Yeah.
just froze. It wasn't even that it
Mhm.
was a hard problem. I just froze because I was in front of the whole room and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And that word right there, it followed me. So I spent my
Mhm.
entire young adult life thinking you can't do math. And so that impacted me. It impacted me even into my business. So it's like the little things that are planted in us, they begin to grow. We got to be very, very
Very
careful.
careful. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel you, man. I feel you. My
I
goodness.
think all of us have that same story of being told we were stupid. Yeah, and we were even sharing before we came on online that the Colby assessment
Yeah,
that you and I took, Tish, really freed us to
yeah,
understand how we solve problems. So by
yeah,
going up on the board and telling us a formula, not necessarily is how we solve problems, because we are innovative. So like, we need to innovate. We need to
yes,
create things,
all day.
and all
Yeah.
day long we need to create. And school doesn't really allow for that. School is very fact finder, follow through. You have to follow the systems, follow the processes. You got to sit here, learn formulas, learn this. And it's not for people who are wired the way we are wired to really succeed in. So
Yeah,
and that's why when you see people who have long line quick starts, they're entrepreneurs because they don't follow the rules. They
yeah,
don't, we need to innovate. And
yeah.
so school environment is very challenging for anyone who is that type of profile that we have. And we're not good in jobs. Not really. We don't like people tell us what to do.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Oh, we need to do the telling.
Yes.
So, so I did have a Janet.
Mhm.
When, um, what is new for you next? Like, what is the next thing? I know you have some big things coming up. So, what is next for you?
Well, what's coming up for me next? I'm really excited to say I am a delegate for the Woman of Achievement pageant. My first time as an adult. Oh my gosh. And I'm right now I'm representing Mrs. Elite Southern California for Women of Achievement. I'm absolutely honored to be in this pageant and just to be with my fellow sisters and celebrate and support each other. So that's what I have going on. I'm also working. I have a lot of things going on. I have a book in me. I know I was a contributing author for the
Mhm.
Rise Up Women, and that really opened my eyes and opened my heart. And yes, that's a beautiful book, you guys.
Wow.
You got to buy it. It's a beautiful book. Beautiful book. Has so much good information in there. It opened my eyes and heart. That is something I can do. And
Mhm.
also, I'm working. You know what? I learned something. I am working with another coach actually, and I have two notebooks. There's a total of four, but I just started two of the notebooks. One notebook is to write down my goals, write it down once in the morning, once in the evening, every day, every evening, every day, every evening, to get that into your subconscious mind so you begin to believe it. And it's very
Mhm.
therapeutic too. Then I also have a triggers notebook where I write down my triggers. So they're two separate notebooks. And then I look at
Oh,
those
that's interesting.
triggers, what's causing them, and then I think, what is it that I can do better? How can I prevent the trigger, or how can I work through this? So there's two other books. I have two other notebooks with projects to do. I need to work on those a little bit more, but I want to get started on the goals and triggers first.
I love that. And what's your platform going to be for Women of Achievement when you come to the pageant in November?
So my platform's going to be, it's a working title. My working title is Leadership Through Toastmasters. And what I want to accomplish is that any woman and man, it's open for everybody, but
And
any,
on the aside.
Yeah.
but no, we have a lot of fabulous female leaders. And there's something that really bothers me, and this is why I resonate with Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs, is that So many women, we tear each other down. Why? It
Yeah.
doesn't benefit anybody. It's painful. And we just celebrate each other, encourage each other. And I also want to help women to become leaders. There's people who are scared to death and they believe I don't have leadership. I can't be a leader. And that's false. We all
Yeah.
can be leaders. We all have different traits, but anyone can be a leader if they work at it. And so that's why I'm focusing on that. And by the way, public speaking is a form of leadership. Anytime you're speaking in front of people, you are a speaker. So that's
Yes.
where I'm at with that.
I take
Nice.
Toastmasters too, Janet. I'm a Toastmasters grad from years ago.
Nice. So, Tish, what is next for you? What's up next?
Ooh, so many things.
I,
But I
I
think,
need to have you in Woman of Achievement too, by the way, Tish.
well, I would love to.
We need to
Well,
get you on that pageant.
I think that this is probably the best thing because it aligns with the confidence conversation. I had an event that was very well attended and everything, but it was a horrible failure financially. It cost me $40,000. It was bad. And it took me a long time to be willing to do it again. And so this year we're doing our big in-person 2-day conference. It's called we're literally calling it the Profit Maker Sales Conference. And it's going to be here in Phoenix, Arizona. It'll be in September. So you'll start seeing lots of information about it. If anybody wants to sponsor it, you two ladies, if you want to participate, let me know by all means. And if there's anyone in the audience that's interested, for sure. But it's a big jump for me because there was a time when I said, oh, I'm never doing that again. I am over conferences. And I kept feeling that pull. And we're doing it in the fall.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So you'll have to come back on Small Business Saturday Shout Out and promote that and let people
absolutely.
know about
Absolutely.
how to get involved with that. So yay. Congratulations.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna send
much.
you info to join the pageant too. It's in November in California. So
Okay.
yeah, because
Sounds
I,
good.
5'11", I mean, gorgeous. Look at you.
Well,
Glowing.
thank you.
You need to be there.
Yes. Come and join us.
For sure. Thank
That
you.
would be awesome. So I love this conversation. I thank you ladies so much for joining me today. Just last words to our audience. Janet said, thank you ladies. We are powerfully innovative and are now grateful for my past, like you ladies. So thank
Aw.
you so much, Janet. So yes, last final thoughts, Janet.
My last final thoughts are no matter how successful or how non successful or wherever you're at in life, always, I believe that all of us should be working with coaches. And if you're a coach, you need to be working with coaches. I think there's so much benefit in working with a coach. The other thing I want to say, it's never too late. Never too late. I am meeting more and more women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, 100. People are still making things happen. So those dreams, don't give up your dreams. All right? Don't give up your dreams. It's never too late.
I love that, Janet. Absolutely. I was just talking to a friend before the show, and we were talking about Colonel Sanders started at 60, Sam Walton started at 46, Ray Kroc was in his 50s. And they built something that generation after generation is benefiting from. So it's not. You're absolutely right. It's never too late. Tish, final thoughts.
So I would love to just share some of the things, one of the multiple things that were just liberating for me when I was still trying to find my voice. I want to encourage you all, especially the young women, those who are just starting businesses, maybe even still in school. There's a scripture in Jeremiah, I believe it's Jeremiah, and he says,
Mhm.
before I knew you, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. I gave you a voice that made you a prophet to the nations. In other words, you've always had a voice,
Amen.
always had a voice. So don't silence yourself. Don't allow anyone to make you feel small. You are already able to do anything that God has put you on the earth to do. So speak loud. Don't live loud. Don't let anyone make you feel inferior or less than who you are.
I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Janet. To reach out to Janet, don't forget IG, it's at janet.walters, and Facebook, it's at Janet Walters. And for Tish Times, at Tish Times, Facebook, sorry, IG, and on Facebook, it's Coach Tish Times. And not to be outdone by you two ladies, for me on IG, you can find me at Alicia Couri or at Audacious Confidence. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's really been encouraging. Um, it's been a blessing to have you here. Thank you, Dee. Dee says, thank you, ladies. It's really been a blessing to have you share your journey with us here on Love My Body, Love Myself. And as Tish, as you're going through this journey of gaining control of your gut health, it's how you are loving your body, because you're finding ways to love, and take care of the body that you have. And so that's a beautiful thing. And Janet, you're loving yourself, your spirit, your soul, and your body in, stepping into the woman that you're created to be. So I love it. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're welcome to come back anytime. You're welcome.
Yay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome. So that has been, another episode of Love My Body, Love Myself. Thank you all for joining us. And just a couple quick reminders. We are live on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, here on Love My Body, Love Myself. Many of the shows are pre-recorded, and we show just for scheduling, but we show them live on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have our show Small Business Saturday Shout Out, which is on the first and third Saturday of the month, right here as well. And you can join me on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern on winwinwomen.tv. That's a different platform, winwinwomen.tv. And the show is called Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. So thank you. If you want to know anything more, you can go to linktr.ee/acouri. You can get a copy of any of my books that are behind me there. There's this one as well, Rise Up, Women Who Lead, Building Legacy. Janet is a co-author. I'm a co-author, and many of my guests are co-authors in that book as well. And my other books are listed on this Linktree link. You can also find me, aside from Instagram, you can connect with me on Alicia360.com. You can connect with me on all social media platforms. It's Alicia360.com. Thank you so much for joining us today on Love My Body, Love Myself. And I'm going to remind you to do something this week for yourself. Do something to prove to yourself that you love your body and that you love yourself. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you did, so that we can celebrate with you. And I will see you next time for another amazing guest here on Love My Body, Love Myself. Don't forget to join our Facebook group. So it's Love My Body, it's facebook.com/groups/LMBLM. Until next time, mwah, 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 mwah. See you then.